A very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Sharab Dorji. Our top stories this week: the National Assembly decided to waive the royalty of $65 per day for tourists visiting Eastern Dzongkhag. Farmers can soon borrow loans to up to 500,000 Newton without any collateral. And Bhutan Football Federation wins the AFC President Recognition Award for grassroots football in the aspiring category for the second year running. The National Assembly, through a majority vote, passed the Tourism Levy Exemption Bill 2017 as Money Bill on Thursday. The House decided to waive the tourism royalty of $65 per day for tourists visiting eastern districts. It is intended to encourage more number of tourists to go to eastern districts. The royalty waiver will be for a period of 3 years, which is till December 2020.
The bill was passed through raise of hands, but some members of the opposition were against the royalty waiver.
속중로 나한테 때도 속중이 가둘래 땡아리 고도순 버진 때 남매삼이 마두뚜베 저 위비기 행가다 때 딱실 레전드 지가 손들 마두뚜베 the nice 위기 뉴슈도 세슈니
that take dulangdi yancha tamdalu te gachi jomo sawdalu ta ngachigi te ani dollar dukchu rengadi te ngachigi royalty dilla te chame tam imbela ane beogaledi te ngachigi high value low volume tourism te kepsam bomda te neba nyumbigi tawadi te digi chame same jo mena anse tani te dachina dochkotibi chuzumbe tadi eastern ngachi shacho zongkhalu mass tourism gi sumji journalism jibe jome si junila digi nadini le ya gachimso chin tani dato shunglu misirgi 텀니 유미디 이라니 dollar 둑주랭아지 슈닐라
땡아라게 홀레베 와친 데 테커 데데 케벤 주미 송세 슈닐라 데보다 데 마옹권달루 저게다 보달루 총라기 고갑 라요기 고갑 데 종카 두날루 데 태웅세 데 노담메세 슈닐라.
Being the second highest revenue generator, the impact of the move was thoroughly discussed. The royalty exemption for the Eastern Circuit shall expire by 31st December 2020. This is Ringdandu BBS News.
More than 60% of the Gyeoks now have Alcohol Harm Reduction Committee. This is in line with the National Policy and Strategic Framework to Reduce Harmful Use of Alcohol 2015 to 2020 of the Health Ministry. The Health Minister informed this during the question hour session of the National Assembly on Thursday.
The Chumi Ura MP questioned the Health Minister on the implementation of the alcohol reduction policy. He also asked how much the government is spending on treating alcohol and related diseases.
데 년슈 대베 피디비임베 레렘치나루 데 소위 중치기 카툴레 땡아치루 데 세슈슈 배우기 갑디나루 창레 템비기 네시딜레 땡디기베 땡아차라기 다우레레루 데 민옴 니슈 짜게 데치루 데 시켄 좀 인세 테카르도 창기 네시 토미디 데 민옴 니슈 짜지 델루 데베 좀 인세오달루.
The Health Minister said, as per the policy, the implementation of the major steps to battle alcohol and related diseases are in full swing. Speaking to BBS, Minister Tandri Wanchu said an executive order has been circulated to the Dzongkhags and relevant agencies for implementation of the policy. He added the community expansion program to reduce harmful use of alcohol has been implemented in the eastern Dzongkhas and Gyeoks. It will be replicated in 5 more Dzongkhas by next year. Also, the National Alcohol Harm Reduction Committee meets regularly to review the implementation status both at national and Dzongkhak levels. Besides, issuing of new bar licenses has been suspended. Last year, the government spent 27 million Newton in treating alcohol-related diseases, which is an increase by 1 million as compared to 2015.
chanle tembegi ngachirigi nangkhe ombab nalu pembade terbumchi tichap metuni te changi thonda te sugi te tigulin nebadi te telen laluchi ngachara thesulu neba laluchi ngachara gi shitengi chachelu neba laluchi medenalu neba te anin neba de su chanyam domdebe te tichap douchi babachin terbum tu dechi te ngachara gyakhabnalu topobi se.
As per the record with the Health Ministry, on an average, 162 people die due to alcohol-related diseases in the country annually. For Pema Tsong, Pema Saldinsring, BBS News.
A finding from the National Council's Special Committee reveals housewives and farmers are unaware of the G2C services. The assessment was conducted earlier this year on 120 G2C services. It is to understand the efficiency and effectiveness of public service delivery.
According to the survey which the Special Committee Chairperson presented to the House, 28% of the total respondents were not aware of the online government-to-citizen services being offered. Of that, more women compared to their male counterparts were unaware of the e-services. Interestingly, out of 120 G2C online services offered, people commonly availed themselves of only 7 services.
There are 7 commonly used e-services. So the House thought we should recommend government to, in addition to the existing commonly used 6-7 services, government should ensure that many people use all the available services.
Although most people have rated satisfactory in the online services provided to them, most housewives and farmers, according to the survey, were not aware of the G2C services.
From the occupational background, 34% of farmers, in fact, farmers are the ones who are the major user of these services. So when 34% of our farmers are not aware of G2C services, how will they avail such services?
Security clearance, birth registration, household information and rural timber permit were the G2C services the public availed themselves of the most in the past 1 year. The survey also found that most respondents knew of the G2C service through BBS advertisement followed by community center. On challenges and opportunities of G2C service centers, the survey grades network problem and system breakdown as the major challenge, followed by lack of adequate human resources and training. Following the findings, the National Council recommended the government to take a series of awareness programs using both the mainstream and social media to improve the use of e-services and also equip community centers with reliable network connectivity and training to the operators by concerned agencies. With additional information from Pema Saldinsring, Soramphunso for BBS News.
The National Council endorsed the recommendations on legal aid services and legal aid to indigent persons. The recommendations were made because the service was not provided, though it is mandated by the Constitution and other acts. It will be submitted to the government. According to the Legislative Committee of the House, an indigent person is a person who is poor, helpless and needy, who cannot afford the services of a lawyer.
The recommendations are formalizing the provision of legal aid services and legal aid to indigent persons as top priority by ensuring that the service is provided to both civil and criminal cases, and also to make the service available from the time the indigent accused is held in custody. The House also resolved to recommend the government to use the income slab of 39,000 yutum in a year based on national minimum wage of 125 yutum per day. Or, if a person's income is lower than the yearly expenditure of 69,648 yutum in urban areas and 39,012 yutum in rural areas. It is one of the qualifying criteria to be an indigent person in the absence of any other parameter.
팀기 텍소 세우돌로 텍소 충쿠치 멤버 베신다 텍소에게 샵도 마도 라샤도 디난든딜레 팀기 된설로 탱쿠 미기 잡미 베심다 모섭베 파 끼니기 데디기 팀기 까타 찌구 멤버 베심다 팀 소소베라 록수베 점미 브로치 버워진 디차주 나다 브로치 버워진 디기라 데디 차봉디 자초베 주님의 디기 팬럽 디기 데베 체니메세 같이 투진나심다 데딜루 시작심다 같이 나루 다리 데디비나루 데베라 키쿠 수신이.
The Legislative Committee resolved to consider drafting a separate legislation on legal aid until such legislation is enacted, and make appropriate arrangements to deliver legal aid services and legal aid to indigent persons. Samtan Dolkar, PBS News.
Farmers will now have more choice to borrow loans at low interest rate by the beginning of next year. The Royal Monetary Authority has come up with the new loan policy called Priority Sector Lending, where farmers can get loans at a maximum of 8% interest rate for agricultural and livestock practices without any collateral.
A farmer can borrow up to 500,000 yutum. The governor said Priority Sector Lending policy would act as a stimulus for economic transformation. It will target critical sectors under the cottage and small industries to become more business-oriented and give equal opportunities to everyone to take loans.
People who have mortgage and guarantors get loans, and people who do not have don't get. So if a person is mentally and physically fit, he will get loan to start any kind of farming activities. For equality, farmers and youth can avail themselves of loans without mortgage and guarantors, and in place of collateral, they have to insure.
Bhutan Development Bank and Rural Enterprise Development Corporation have been key source of finance for farmers till now by keeping some mortgage and guarantors. But with this priority sector lending policy, farmers can get loans from all financial institutions in the country. The central bank will launch the policy next month, and it will be implemented from January next year. For Kilowanchu, Pema Salinstring, BBS News.
With the increasing number of people traveling outside Bhutan for pilgrimage, pilgrims face numerous challenges due to lack of a legitimate regulation. In order to address the issue, the Economic Affairs Ministry has come up with the Package Pilgrimage Regulation 2017. The ministry launched the regulation in the capital along with the market price information for September 2017.
The regulation applies to the Bhutanese licensed pilgrimage operators who render pilgrimage services outside Bhutan. Speaking at the launch of the regulation, the Economic Affairs Minister said the regulation will benefit both the pilgrims and the tour operators.
People who organize tours for our pilgrims, we didn't have any regulation, so I think it was unregulated. So, I mean, when we are just coming up with this regulation, our idea is to help both sides, both the pilgrims as well as tour operators, and have our pilgrims have a better understanding and better safety when they travel to India.
The ministry, through this regulation, hopes to tackle challenges related to safety of Bhutanese pilgrims while availing services from the tour operators.
There should not be any hassle to the pilgrims, because in the past we saw our pilgrims undergoing many hassles, difficulties, challenges, and also they were neglected during the course of the pilgrimage. So with this we believe that, no, not exactly believe, but we see that the pilgrims will be supported.
Along with it, the ministry also released the market price information for September 2017. The market price information will provide market price information of 128 essential commodities from across the 6 regional towns in the country. It will be published periodically by the Office of Consumer Protection. Pasang Doji, BBS News.
Unlike in the past, people will now no longer have to declare their assets annually if the assets have been already declared in the earlier declaration period. People just need to declare the new assets acquired. This is one of the main provisions of the revised Asset Declaration Rules 2017.
The Anti-Corruption Commission revised the Asset Declaration Rules 2012 to help the declarants and improve asset declaration compliance. The new rule now has clear reporting procedures and the roles and responsibilities of the agency and asset declaration administrators. It will also be easier to determine the non-declarants under the new rule and fine them accordingly.
The period for annual declaration is from 1st February to 31st March. And from 1st February to 30th April, from 1st April to 30th April, people can still file. If an individual is not able to file within that period, from 1st May to 31st May, he or she becomes late declarant, whereby he or she will be levied fine equivalent to daily national minimum wage until such failure subsides. And if an individual is again not able to file within May month, then from 1st June, he or she becomes non-declarant, whereby he or she will be levied fine equivalent to 1 year's national minimum wage.
He added that the late or non-declarants will have to deposit the fines within 3 months. If not, the Commission will deal with them accordingly. The Commission has also made other changes in the system. For instance, a declarant will no longer have to file the utility bills, as it will be automatically determined by the system. ACC officials also said currently many declarations are incomplete, especially when it comes to assets, income and liability.
What they normally do is they just skip and say no, 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 no. And now hereafter in the Rule 2080 Rule 2012, there is a provision where we say incomplete declaration. So if an individual is found filing incomplete declaration, he or she shall be levied fine equivalent to 1 month's gross pay.
This is the second revision of the Asset Declaration Rules. Asset declaration is an important tool to ensure accountability of the public officials. For Sonam Chodin, Sonam Pem for BBS News.
Mired in controversies and work suspension, Hagakarpo in Ha finally stands complete after 7 years. The reconstruction works were completed last month and now it's preparing to host the National Day celebrations this month.
Hagakap, built in the 17th century and the seat of Apchundu, Ha's guardian deity, now stands towering Ha Valley. With its white stone walls embedded with cubes of colored windows and complex courtyards surrounded by the hostels for monks, the Haga is finally complete.
As per the plan, we are supposed to construct the hostel, renovate the main Lakang and re-roof the structures. We are done with that. We even completed the classroom, dining room with kitchen, library and toilet which were not in the actual plan.
The project was initially conceived at 150 million Gyutum. Additional 3 million Gyutum will be spent to buy religious and ceremonial things. The project manager said, despite the 2 years of Anti-Corruption Commission's investigation on the monastery's reconstruction and court cases, the actual works at the site were not interrupted. It was initially planned to be ready by 2015.
I was transferred here only in August 2014 as the project manager. When I came here, they had stopped the work for a while. The former Lamdete of Ha did not approve the initial drawing of the Laka. He asked to redesign the drawings a bit.
Hagakap will be consecrated on the 110th National Day as it hosts the celebration. For Sange Chezomin Ha, Pemanamge, BBS News.
Coinciding with the National Day celebrations on December 17th, a new dress code will be enforced in Shemgang. The Dzongkhag Sogdo recently passed a resolution to make it mandatory for people to wear the national dress at any occasion.
Residents, visitors or even farmers in the villages will have to wear the national dress from 9 a.m. till 5 in the evening. The dress code is mandatory for all to be followed, be it in the towns or in the field working. Those who fail to comply the rule will be fined 100 Ngütam initially and 200 and 300 Ngütam respectively for the repeated offenders. People have mixed reaction on the new rule.
We are businessmen and the rule is inconvenient for us as we frequently have to move outside to buy small essential needs from the market. And for that we have to wear go and kira, which is little inconvenient.
People are and have been wearing the national dress while in the offices, meetings and occasions like Tsechu. As such, some people said the Dzongkhag Sogdo has unnecessarily passed the resolution which is not there in other districts. Many people are of the view that the Dzongkhag Sogdo has passed the resolution without properly consulting the people in the district.
I don't know for the villages, but for us, forget about the Gap or Mami. Even Tsokpa did not discuss the issue with the people in the village.
DT members said as the issue was discussed during the recent Dzongkhag Sogdo, the members decided to implement the rule. Shemgang's DT chairperson Sange Leto said the decision was taken in accordance with the Local Government Act and the Book on Etiquettes to protect and preserve national identity, culture and tradition. He said this is to safeguard the country's sovereignty and security. A Dzongkhag Druklam Namsha committee has been formed to implement the rule, which will be enforced by local leaders in the village and police in the town areas.
The Bhutan Football Federation received the AFC President Recognition Award for Grassroots Football in the Aspiring category on Wednesday during the AFC Annual Awards held in Bangkok, Thailand. Bhutan beat Macau Football Association and Palestine Football Association to win the award. Its well-organized grassroots activities in all 20 districts, development plans, promotional activities, and good cooperation with government agencies gave BFF the award for the second year running. Well, that's all for this week. Do join us next time, and until then, this is Sharab Dorji saying goodbye.